Skal! Welcome to the Rogue Review's first look at Skal, the Viking dice stacking drinking game from rogueartistcreations.com. So what is Skal? Well, it's a very, very quick, simple, fun game that can be played with or without drinking involved, but with a lot of good, silly laughter. The idea is you are Norse warriors returning from going a Viking overseas. You are in the longhouse. You are drinking, you are feasting, you are boasting, and you are stacking runestones in front of you. You take on the role of a Viking god or goddess. For example, Odin, Loki, Thor, Frey, Idun, or Heimdall. You take the player board, you take the coloured dice. There are a certain number of black dice in the middle of the table that everyone can grab. Each turn, you draw a card from the pack and you must stack the dice to make that shape as fast as you can. If you do that first, you grab your cup, raise it out loud and call Skal, which means cheers in Norse. And then if you do that first, you win the card. Very, very simple. As soon as you get 9 points, you win the game. That's it. Really that simple? Well, yeah, pretty much actually. There are a few basic extra things you can add onto there. The basic game is literally just these cards, stack that, get there first. You start off with 4 dice on your mats, you stack those first, and then any extra dice you just grab from the middle of the table one at a time until you're there. Done. So is that it? As simple as it gets? Well, it can be. For your first game, that's all you need to know. Just play the stack cards, make the patterns, raise the thing. Cheers! First to 5 cards first wins. Done. Ready for your next game? Good. Okay, so we can start throwing in some extra cards now. If you look at the actual different player boards, each different god or goddess has a certain number or rune associated with them. For example, in this set, Thor is 3. Now, if, for example, you drew this card, it's just stacking the dice up as before, only this time it's consecrated to Freya, so all the dice would have to have the 4 facing outwards. If you drew this card, it's Heimdall, so all the dice would have to have the 6 facing outwards. Different ways of playing. These are worth 2 points each because they're a little bit harder. What else? Well, as I said, each person's got their own number. For example, Idun is 5. So if you draw one of these ones, the white dice can basically be whatever face you like, but the multicoloured ones have to be your own particular number. So if you were playing Idun, those 2 dice would have to have the 5 facing outwards. If you were playing Frey, those would have to have the 4 facing outwards. If you're playing Odin, they'd have to have the 1 facing outwards. That's how it works. What else? There are balance cards. These are just stacking up, but they're deliberately made a little bit tricky, so they might fall over first and someone might beat you to it. Just a bit of extra fun, bit harder, 2 points. If you're playing with a large number of people, and it plays up to 6, then you can basically have a 2-player versus 2-player challenge and draw a Terrors card. These represent some of the basically fantastic monsters of Viking times. So for example, you could play the Draugr, or you could basically play against a Kraken. What this happens is that one team of 2 draws the card and puts it face down. They have to basically stack their dice 1 each at a time. So 1 player, 1 player, 1 player, 1 player, and match that symbol on the board, including the last player's own rune. Meanwhile, the other team of 2 players are trying to do the exact same thing first. Whichever team wins first, both raise their cups, both say Skal, and they get 2 points each. Good fun. That's it. That's the game. You can play it with or without alcohol. Basically, whoever basically wins first, they then basically pour the drink and then down. So which presumably means that the more you play, the drunker people can get, which means it basically means a fantastically weird time for a dexterity-based game. Fun. You don't have to do it that way though. This could be a purely family game with just basically raising in the air, shouting out, and lots of silly laughter, if you want. So, this game will take you 10 minutes to play and you'll hopefully play it a lot of times. Please contact me about it. I am GM first at rogueartistcreations.com. You can find us on Rogue Artist Creations. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. You can find us at conventions. Please see us. Please play it. Have a great time. We'll see you then.